Bhlm_05_. I must have slept because the next thing that I remember is Ray waking me up saying that we were home. I slightly opened an eye and took in the environment, and true to his word we were outside my place. "What time is it?" I asked before yawning. 30 past midnight. "Oh boy, I am not a heavy sleeper," I said to myself, stretching my body. "You need to get some rest, you have been up and down a lot." "I don't need that lecture right now," I told him, still yawning. I got hold of the passenger's door before he pulled me back inside. "What now?" I asked lazily, looking at him. "Surely you need to stop this," he said, looking at me with eyes as deep as the ocean. "Stop what?" I asked with a face. "Surely you are 25, you are not getting any younger, you know," he said seriously. I really wanted to laugh, but I restrained myself from doing so. "Good night, Ray," I said, now with one leg out. "Surely I am not joking," he screamed. I removed my heels and walked into the house. It was as quiet as I had expected it to be, but somehow I knew Dad would be awake in his room waiting to hear my footsteps. I walked to my room and stripped off of my clothes before jumping into bed. I had never been this tired in a long time, and I really needed the rest. Raymond drove off from Shirley's place with a heavy heart. He was 35 and certainly not getting any younger. He had gone to visit one of his friends the previous week, and he had been informed that he was married and with a kid on the way. He felt a sting of pain that he had not been invited to the wedding or even told about it, but his friend's response was that Ray had totally shut himself from his friends and they didn't think telling him anything would have meant a thing. He thought hard about what he had seen his friend sharing with his wife. He wanted that for himself as well, and the only thing he had close to his heart was Shirley. But now he had to make the one decision of settling down with someone he didn't love, all because society termed him as too old to be alone. "Oh Shirley, I wish you could give us a chance," he whispered to himself. "How is it that the people we love don't love us back, and those that love us don't seem to move an inch of our hearts?" He didn't realize that he had been outside his gate for a good 30 minutes until he heard noise from his neighbor. They were kids who loved to have house parties. That was his life some time back, but he was grown and he couldn't do that anymore. He often asked himself what he could do with a million girls that he couldn't do with his woman, or what pleasure was in nights out than spending them with the one person you are willing to lay down your life for, not literally but metaphorically. The next morning, I still woke up with the headache that had been bothering me the previous night. I had plans for going out with Mr. Mutail, but I decided against it, seeing how I was feeling. "Hey princess," Dad greeted with a cup of tea in his hands. "Hey Daddy," I responded, pulling the covers over my head. "Are you okay?" he asks. "Not really, I have a terrible headache." "Sad, have you taken anything for it?" "Not yet, but if it persists I will take some painkillers," I responded. "So how was the dinner last night?" I quickly removed the beddings and faced him. How is it possible that he knew about it? "Don't worry, I am not stalking you," he quickly added. I breathed with relief as he continued to sip on his tea. "You have a visitor, by the way." "A visitor?" I asked, surprised. I had no friends and no one came visiting me. "Yes, a man," he said, emphasizing on the word man. "He says his name is Raymond." I looked at Dad in disbelief. Ray had never stepped foot in our yard and we had never been this personal with each other. "Young lady, don't keep the man waiting," Dad said. I knew instantly that Dad liked him, otherwise he would never entertain any man around me. Despite my age, I was still his little girl. "Okay, I am coming," I said, lazily getting out of bed. "His clean, by the way," he said before walking out. I walked to the bathroom and brushed my teeth. I just wanted to stay in bed, and Ray showing himself here was not something I took lightly. Afterwards I washed my face and passed my fingers through my kinky hair. I had no weave on and I wasn't planning on impressing him either. "Good morning, Shirley," he greeted, standing up as I walked down the stairs. "What are you doing here?" I asked, rolling my eyes. "That is not a nice way to start the day," Ruth said, moving from the kitchen to the dining room. And was I talking to you? I rudely asked. Someone is in a bad mood, Ray said with a huge smile on his face. I didn't know this side of him and I wasn't appreciating it one bit. Breakfast is ready, Dad announced. You have got to be kidding me, I muttered under my breath. I walked past Ray and went straight to the dining area. It was smelling really nice and just then my stomach betrayed me. They all turned around to look at me. What? I am hungry, I said defensively. It sent them all into a harmonized laughter. Dad sat just next to his wife whilst Ray sat opposite myself. The two were facing us. After Ruth said grace, I grabbed a vegetable sandwich and black tea without sugar but half a teaspoon of honey. I was a diet advocate. So when are you two getting married? Ruth asked, catching me off guard. The question sent me into a cough. Your friend and author Winnie,